Welcome back to Good Morning Interbike. We're here at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center for Interbike 2013. We're talking to Jason from Kinetic, who's brought a friend along with him. We'll get to you in a minute. Jason, good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about Kinetic.
Well, Kinetic is we're mostly known as a trainer company up in Minneapolis, where we know a lot about having to ride indoors in the winter. But Kinetic is actually a division of a much bigger contract manufacturing company. They got their start in trainers because they were making trainer frames for a different company who subsequently went under, leaving Kinetic with, or Kurt at the time, a lot of frames and tooling. And so the option was to redesign the trainer, make a go of it, and get into the trainer business. And from there it was history. But Kurt Manufacturing does, as I said, contract manufacturing, so they do a lot of aerospace work for Boeing, worked for Articat, any machining, casting, all kinds of stuff. It's nice to have that kind of resource when you're bending metal for a living, as we do, because we can develop anything. We have incredible engineering resources to use. Nice. Definitely a big help.
But I think one of the issues, and the reason why you brought your friend, and some of you may recognize him, we'll reveal who he is in a moment, when you buy a trainer the first time, it can be a bit intimidating. You bring it home, you get it out of the box, you set it up, you figure out how to get your bike on it, and then inevitably there's that two-word question, which is, now what?
Exactly.
And hence the friend you brought with. Introduce who's with you.
My friend here is Chris Carmichael. He's probably a little bit more well-known than I. But at Kinetic, we're trying to expand, to get people past that what's next moment, to become more than just a trainer company, to become more of a training company, because the people they'll get a lot more out of it if they know how to use it. I think a lot of people, they get it out and they hop on and just think, do I pedal as hard as I can for an hour and then go take a shower? But that's not going to be a very good workout. It's not going to make it. Not only will they not see progress, but it will be really unpleasant. So by giving them all of the information they need to have a structured program, they'll get better. They'll see results. It'll be less unpleasant. I don't know that I can ever make riding a bike indoors something anyone looks forward to.
It's a reason it's called the pain cave.
But exactly. But it's a means to an end. It makes you a better cyclist.
Sure.
And hopefully we can also expand what people think of as a trainer, because a trainer does, for any level of cyclist, expand what your bike is. It's not just for riding outside, it's an anytime fitness machine. For an elite athlete, the trainer is making them faster on the course. But for a more recreational cyclist, they may not be comfortable riding in traffic all the time, so during the week they can get their quick half-hour, 45-minute spin at the end of the day, and then on the weekend go out for a longer ride with friends.
Yeah, well put. Chris, how do you and Carmichael Training Systems figure in with Kinetic? How does the partnership work?
Well, Kinetic, it's a natural fit for us. I mean, we're about coaching athletes and making them faster and more efficient and more pleasant on riding their bicycle. Kinetic is the perfect tool to allow us to do that, and we work closely together on not only they make a great product, but it's okay, how is the product going to be used? And that's where we come in and we offer the athletes guidance on how to use it. And as Jason was saying, getting on and riding for an hour, well, you might have a workout, but we need focus to what we do, and people like that focus. They like to have set goals for every workout. So that's really where we come in and help with when they're on the bike and they're actually starting to ride, they move from just riding into training, and that's where we feel like our role comes in, and being partnered with Kinetic is perfect because they make one of the best products out there, and we like to align ourselves with leaders, and they're a leader in this industry, and we believe that kind of coupling Carmichael Training Systems with Kinetics, it's even a stronger for both companies.
And I know for you and your coaches, you certainly like to work with athletes who can train with heart rate, but I know a lot of times you almost prefer to work with athletes if they're training with power. But the barrier to entry to power is quite high. You've solved that in some way, haven't you?
Yeah, we last year we launched the InRide watt meter that works with all of our fluid trainers, and one of the more well-known facets of our fluid trainer is the fact that we have a very reliable, consistent power curve, and so because of that, we can accurately measure power based on the RPMs of the trainer. For years we had a pretty basic power computer that would tell you watts and cadence, but it wasn't giving you all of the metrics that people are looking for power training. It wasn't uploadable. With InRide, we went with an app-based setup that gave us a lot better functionality, a lot better data, and the uploadability. And we wanted something that was going to be easy to use and people are comfortable with app-based setup, accurate, and we were confident in that, and also affordable. So we came up with a product that retails for $219, and so somebody can get into power training for indoors at a very reasonable price on top of the trainer.
iPhone, Android, both?
iPhone for now. Android app is in development. Android was a little slower to release the Bluetooth drivers, so we're working on that one.
And so that can then be uploaded and sent to your coaches?
Yes, it can, and we can do a data analysis and look at all the different markers that are important from the ride. I think the ease of use is just remarkable with the InRide system. You can get on right away. You automatically are getting power readings. That information can be sent to your coach virtually anywhere in the world. Sure. We can be there. We can give direct feedback, analysis, and that's the most important thing. It's like, okay, when the ride's over, what did you actually do? And how are we going to make you better from that information? That's where we come in.
Absolutely. You mentioned the fluid system of the Kinetic trainer. Expand on that a little bit. What makes a Kinetic trainer superior to and again, not bashing the competition, but what makes it superior?
Well, within the realm of fluid trainers, Kinetic did a couple of things that were definitely revolutionary, getting past some of the challenges that the older fluid trainers had. The first one was the magnetic coupler. So one of the big challenges of a fluid trainer is sealing around the drive shaft going into the fluid chamber, because the brake on a fluid trainer is based on spinning a disc in some sort of fluid. But then you have to seal around a spinning shaft, which is very hard to do, and over time is going to present problems. By taking that out of the equation, what they did was come up with two opposing sets of rare earth magnets on either side of what's basically like a fish tank wall. It's a thin separating wall. Yeah. And so that creates a virtual drive shaft with no moving parts entering the chamber. So it's completely sealed, not going to leak. But the other aspect, and what gives it the consistency and the reliability, is the fluid that we use isn't affected by temperature. It's thermodynamically neutral. So that means the viscosity doesn't change with heat. And so the resistance is consistent from beginning to end of the workout, regardless of how much you're working out through the lifetime of the trainer. So we're able to accurately get power, get the same curve all the time. Let's talk about the model that you brought here, because I think that people will find this very unique, because if you've been on a trainer before, it's rigid. You get to the hard part of your workout and you want to stand up and you want to rock your bike, but you can't always do that, can you? Well, the rock and roll is one of our signature pieces. It's the top of the range in our trainer lineup. And what it does is allows the bike to move back and forth the way it does on the road. Right. So it forces you to maintain your form while you're riding, and thus forces you to use your core muscles, which on a standard fixed trainer you're not using. Right. It's a more complete workout. It feels better. It just feels more natural. And then also when you're riding on the road, there's always a little subtle back and forth of the bike. But when the bike is locked, you don't have that. Right. So when you're on a fixed trainer, your hips are going to move just a little bit, and our athletes tell us that they can ride the rock and roll longer because it just feels more comfortable, because it's not locking the bike in place. That's interesting. Now, beyond the rock and roll, what are some of the other models that you've got in your line, and what's the range that people can expect? Well, the best seller for us is our road machine. That's the benchmark for fluid trainers out there. It's the one that we're most well known for. And that's a standard fixed frame, but the same fluid resistance unit. We also do a magnetic trainer as well. We haven't given it the attention that it deserves, definitely not the advertising that it deserves, but it is a phenomenal magnetic trainer. It's the quietest one that I've tested. It's a great unit. It works really well for lower geared bikes, because the resistance curve on a magnetic trainer is linear progressive, as opposed to a fluid, which is exponentially progressive, which means it increases on a curve. So within the range of wheel speed that a mountain bike or anything with lower gears is training, the magnetic trainer is actually giving a higher level of resistance. But when you're on a road bike, you're getting further up to the curve where the fluid starts to peak. Fluid training has been very popular in the U.S. Fluid training is the most accurate representation of riding outside, because riding outside, air resistance is fluid resistance. So that's been the big seller in the U.S. It's different in other countries. Magnetic is much more popular. But to get back to the Mag Trainer, it's a great option for lower geared bikes because in the meat of the training speeds for them, they get more resistance.
Makes sense.
And we also do a wind trainer that rounds out the line. It's a great wind trainer, but wind trainers have some obvious drawbacks, noise being chief among them. But it's still a good option for race warm-ups, and it's the lightest trainer we make, so it's easier to carry.
Yeah. What about price points on all the things we've talked about?
Starts at $239 for the wind with for the new models, up to $579 for the rock and roll.
Really nice. And if people want more information,
go to our website, kurtkinetic.com.
And of course, for Carmichael Training Systems,
Trainright.com.
Trainright.com. Gentlemen, thanks for joining. Chris, Jason, great to hear a lot about the partnership and about your products as well. And thanks so much for bringing the rock and roll. It's a beautiful looking trainer.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it. And thank you for joining us here on Good Morning Interbike. Stay subscribed to our YouTube channel. We're going to have more content from right here at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center in the 2013 edition of the Interbike Trade Show. Stay tuned.